Welcome to MTN Outdoors.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of MTN Outdoors. Boy, has it been cold, and for the first time of this year. Now, in some of these old structures here in Montana, you got to make sure you know what's going on with the weather so you can prepare and make sure your family is safe. Good thing we have a team of meteorologists at our beck. One of them happens to be my brother. It's important that you know what's going on so you can protect your family and keep them safe. Check this out.
After a long wait, snow and a lot of it finally arrived in central Montana at the end of December and into the new year. There has been a long wait for the arrival of La Nina, but NOAA says it is officially here. La Nina occurs when sea surface temperatures in this area around the equator drop below average. The previous La Nina lasted 3 winters and ended during the 2022-2023 winter season, during which Great Falls received over 8 feet of snow. While areas such as Lewistown and the Little Belt Mountains have seen several feet of snowfall this winter, many other parts of central Montana are still catching up. So far, Great Falls has received just under 21 inches of snow, while the 30-year average is 29 inches of snow by this time in the season. Now, this La Nina is expected to be weaker than the last one and will likely only last until spring, but the rest of January is expected to continue the cold and active weather pattern we've been experiencing throughout the first half of the month. There's also a high likelihood of above normal precipitation for the remainder of the month. The Climate Prediction Center has released its 3-month outlook for February through April this week, and it is showing central and eastern Montana experiencing below average temperatures. Now, areas west of the divide have the best chance of receiving above normal precipitation, but there is plenty of winter left, and La Nina's wintry impacts usually become more pronounced during the latter part of winter as the climate pattern fully establishes itself. The strongest effects are typically felt from January to March. Reporting in Great Falls, meteorologist Eric Johnson, MTN News.
Make sure you're covering all towards the skin when you're outside. Wear your gloves, wear your hat.
Logan Health Emergency RN Cassandra Stuker says it's best to be prepared when the Arctic air comes rolling in, limiting your time outside and staying bundled up.
Taking breaks every 20 to 30 minutes if the temperature is between 13 to 31 degrees. You want to take some inside time. If it gets below 13 degrees with wind chill, try to move the activities inside.
Stuker says they see an uptick in frostbite and ice-related falls when the bitter cold seeps in.
Also make sure that you are wearing like your spikes for shoes because we get a lot of slip and falls and hip and bone fractures during the season.
Stuker says keeping your extremities warm and well covered is key to avoiding frostbite.
You're going to get cold bites on your nose, your fingertips, and your toes. Make sure you're wearing layers of socks or wool socks if possible, and good insulated boots.
When in doubt, Stuker says always listen to your body.
If you're feeling cold, get inside and have a cup of hot cocoa or coffee.
In Kalispell, Sean Wells, MTN News.
Well, we all know how cold it is outside, but the question is, how does that cold affect pipes inside? Pipes like these ones in our buildings and homes. And the answer is not yet, but that doesn't mean plumbers aren't planning ahead for what should be a busy week of work. While the coldest of this winter storm has certainly hit Billings,
This is the calm before the storm.
plumbers in the city know their work is only just beginning.
It's not right now when it's negatives that we're going to see the issues. It's when it hits 15 to 20 degrees.
Longtime restoration company owner Andy Pierme says that while the cold burst will likely lead to problems, the severity won't be known until the temperature heats back up.
Ice is thawed inside the pipe where it's split, now water's running.
Which is why he and his team pay so much attention to the forecast.
We're always watching the weather.
So the temperatures will rise rather quickly. And
Q2 Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh says Pierme's concerns are correct, with warmer temperatures coming quick the rest of the week.
you could watch the thermometer hour to hour and just watch it glide back up. It'll kind of level off into the upper 20s, low 30s next couple of days.
Monday, Pierme and crew were planning to get heating devices into homes to help prevent pipes from freezing.
We can bring everything in from just heating a small bathroom to an entire office building.
And that's what his crew is focused on now, and for good reason.
Just as parts of the city are starting to warm up and people had those freezes that actually split the pipe, and now water's running throughout the house or office building.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
It's cold out here right now. I can see my breath when I breathe. And this weekend, it's just going to get colder. So what's that mean for the folks who are suffering from homelessness here in the Gallatin Valley?
And hopefully I won't be here much longer.
Gary Watson is among the 90 regulars who frequently stays at the HRDC warming shelter.
Yeah, I'm here every night. You deal. You have to. And give everybody else consideration of what they're going through too. Right?
With temperatures lowering below zero this weekend, the shelter that once was a roller skating rink could see upwards of 120 people.
It could get really bad. I mean, there's been people here that have had their limbs cut off.
What Gary fears most?
The feeling that somebody might be stuck out there and not know about this place. That would be hard.
A code blue goes into effect at the warming center this Saturday at 7 p.m. The shelter will remain open 24/7 until Monday. Brian Geyer of HRDC says staying open speaks to the shelter's core function.
When the weather conditions are life-threatening, like we anticipate seeing this weekend, it's incumbent on us to get as many people out of the cold as we possibly can.
Keeping their doors open comes with a cost.
About $2,000 per day extra on top of our budget to keep our doors open and keep our staff here.
But they are not just keeping people out of the elements.
You know, trying to foster as much sense of community as we possibly can in the facility.
Geyer says with homeless numbers on the rise,
this is too affluent of a community. This is too caring of a community for something like dying from exposure to cold to happen.
For Gary, he's just hoping his situation improves.
I just wish people would help out more, especially if you've got that kind of money. I wish people would help these kind of people.
The HRDC will open Homeward Point, a new homeless shelter, in June of 2025. In Bozeman, Megan Elaine, MTN News.
You're watching MTN Outdoors. Let's be safe before we hit the road.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Let me tell you about growing up with snow days. I would wake up in the morning, and if there was this much snow on the ground, I would rush down, make a phone call on a landline, and find out if school was in session. That was the greatest feeling ever, to find out that I didn't have to go to school because snow fell. Here in Montana, what's a snow day? It's business as usual, and workers are getting stuff done to make sure you are safe. Let's check out some people from Montana who are out there doing their job no matter what.
As you can see, I'm in the front seat of a Montana Department of Transportation plow truck, and they're taking me along for a joyride to show me just what it takes to make sure the roads are clear when the snow starts falling.
Okay, here we go. Usually, if it snows a lot, they call us at 2:30, so we're there at 3 o'clock.
And that's AM, if you were wondering. For the last 38 years, if you saw a plow truck driving around the Bozeman-Livingston area, there's a good chance it was Larry Chapel. He tells me exactly what it takes to be a plow truck driver in Montana.
We have to be on the roads 24/7, and then we work weekends or whatever, It's, even if it's Christmas or the Super Bowl or whatever, we're out here on the road.
Larry tells me he often racks up around 250 hours of overtime each winter. But this year, Larry will be raking in the hours using MDT's brand new plow trucks.
This is the plow control. This controls your front head plow. And then this screen here, it actually shows you how much sand you're putting out per lane mile.
With trucks that can hold around 12,000 pounds of sand, they can cover some serious ground. But new trucks aren't the only thing that's changed over the years, according to Larry.
Just a lot more traffic. Everything seems like it's more demanding now because of having to get out there sooner to plow the roads and sand because of all the traffic, and a lot more wrecks.
In fact, we even passed an accident on I-90 during our ride-along. And Larry was right when he says this job is demanding, considering the last 2 years.
They've been having trouble finding people in Bozeman to work. There's been volunteers from around the state that have been coming in and helping.
And that's just to cover areas such as I-90 and other major roads. But have you ever wondered who's tasked with plowing areas in Bozeman such as Main Street downtown?
It's the hardest operation that we have, clearing our residential streets.
Nick Ross is Bozeman's Director of Transportation and Engineering. He tells me getting these plows around residential streets is a challenge.
Those are large pieces of equipment. Unfortunately, when we're going down narrow streets and folks aren't able or willing to move their cars off the street, it becomes a very, very stressful operation.
Which is why the city is currently working on what they call an odd-even parking restriction.
Where only half the street parking would have to be removed on your day, that gives our operators a lot more space to move, a lot more space to clear the snow, and also gives folks a little bit of more opportunity to keep their cars on the streets.
Which could go into effect later this season. But no matter how hard this job can get, for folks like Larry,
I enjoy the work, yeah, I really do. Kind of rewarding to know you're making a difference, you know, and helping people, so yeah.
In Bozeman, Cassidy Powers, MTN News.
Here in Montana, we are used to wildfires, and although the LA fires are 1,000 miles from us, places in Montana have come and helped their fellow firefighters either from the sky or on the ground. Firefighters across the nation are coming together to help extinguish the wind-whipped flames that have spread through Los Angeles.
In January in Bozeman, it's hard to be in that mindset when you don't see smoke in the air and you're not in active firefighting mode. But when you see that on TV, in the DNA of everybody at Bridger, it's how can we respond and how quickly can we respond. Bozeman-based aerial firefighting company Bridger Aerospace has about 10 people fighting the wildfires 1,000 miles away. When you see this, it's gripping. Bridger Aerospace CEO Sam Davis says the fires that have claimed the lives of about 25 people are devastating. You'd have to be emotionally dead not to respond to folks losing their homes or losing lives or churches, schools going up in flames, and fire takes no quarter. Bridger Aerospace sent 2 Super Scoopers to California, and these aerial firefighter aircraft uphold the title Super. Over-engineered for, picking up water loads and pretty heavy water loads, and doing it continuously on a full tank of fuel so it can drop water for 4 to 5 hours and continuously scoop and drop so one plane can drop a few 100,000 gallons of water a day. Just across Montana, 11 departments and agencies have reportedly sent support to LA. You see a lot of folks banding together to want to support what's going on there because you put yourself in the shoes of the folks that are suffering the loss. Currently, the fires remain under investigation. In the meantime, men and women continue to battle the blaze. In Bozeman, Megan Elaine, MTN News.
Some horse owners can breathe a sigh of relief today after their horses were reported missing from a ranch in Whitehall on Thursday. Well, they have now been found here in a field just less than a mile away from where they went missing.
I cried. I mean, I had hand raised my baby horse. I petted him when he was 3 days old. So my youngest, that was like losing a child.
Missy Pope and others now have their children, horses, safely back after 14 animals at the Salvani Ranch went missing on January 16th. Tom Salvani, who pastures horses for people at his Whitehall Ranch, said the past 24 hours have been a challenge.
Well, to be honest, it's been kind of like hell.
When the animals went missing, some of the owners were concerned the horses may have been stolen, and the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office was contacted.
Of course, livestock does get out, but they vanished. I honestly didn't know how they got here.
The owner of the ranch added that he has a theory that perhaps these horses were spooked by a mountain lion because one was reported in this area about a week ago, and these horses are certainly acting very skittish.
They're in the field, we got a happy ending, and the owners are getting their critters, and we're going to go take care of however they got off the property.
How do you feel? Ecstatic. I'm glad to have them home. Those are our children.
In Whitehall, John Amy, MTN News.
You're watching MTN Outdoors, and I'm so glad the snow is here. Stay tuned.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Hey, snuck up on you. Just like this cold weather, huh? Well, there's snow piling up in the mountains, and it's time to hit the slopes. Also, there's time to do some cross country, and there's a lot of options becoming available. Montana may want to look at what Wyoming is doing for their high school kids and getting them involved with getting the 2 sticks and the boots on their feet.
Over the last couple of years, Great Divide ski area has been busy with their new additions to the mountain. They've added improvements to some of their chairlifts while also saying farewell to a previous ski patrol building last year, while welcoming this new clinic, which is already making a major difference in the skiers' and snowboarders' safety on the mountain.
Ski patrollers can more effectively do their job.
Great Divide says over the past 5 years, they've seen an increase in visitors to the mountain. The growing number of skiers and snowboarders also means more people for ski patrol to protect.
A lot of people have been very happy with what we built here and how we're operating.
Their previous ski patrol facility was built in the 1960s. Micah Vidoff, operations manager at Great Divide, says the new building and location has been able to transform their response to accidents and helped get the injured off the mountain to help them more quickly.
The new building here has increased our ability to transport injured skiers down to the ambulance and to their cars without having us needing to carry them down or transport them via snowmobile or emergency toboggan to the parking area.
It also improved the experience for people who have been in an accident. It offers more space and can fit up to 4 injured people, twice as many people as the previous building.
They feel much more comfortable in the much more open air in the clinic here, being separated with the better lighting, just a generally cleaner feel of the clinic.
And provides more space to train, house equipment, and more comfortable for the volunteers working on the mountain.
We have a ski locker for all our patrollers. Like I said, the upstairs training and locker room area. But our main area down here has been nice with the bathrooms, running water. We're able to dry towels, dry our sleeping blankets that we use to keep our injured peoples warm. Yeah.
At Great Divide, Ryan Berg, MTN News.
Showdown is bustling as storms bring heavy snow to the area to start out the new year.
We have had incredible snow. It is pumping up here.
Will Gold is the business development manager for Showdown Montana. He said that they've had 5 feet of snow in the last week and 186 inches year to date.
Every day is special up here. You don't want to miss one.
The beginning of this year is a stark contrast to last year when there was almost no snow.
The community up here is special. We serve great communities. It's great people. They're humble, hardworking, kind people. And we're special to have such a, such a beautiful mountain.
Up on the mountain, Bill Wright says he comes to Showdown 2 or 3 times a week.
Well, the snow is awesome. Last week, even before this other 5 feet showed up, is as good as it was all last year.
Wright has been skiing since he was 3 and says Showdown reminds him of the hills he grew up on.
It reminds me of growing up as a kid in Wyoming, the smaller areas, the family atmosphere. It's family owned.
Lauren Bacon is another skier who has been taking advantage of the prime conditions. How many times have you been out this year?
Every chance I can get.
She says that it isn't just Showdown staff that's celebrating the snow.
It's amazing. It's so nice and everybody's so happy and it's fluffy and you get to go in between groomers and powder. It's the best.
People aren't just happy to be on the chairlifts. Back inside, 13-year-old Harley has a different favorite part of Showdown.
I like the food.
Okay.
And I like the hills and like some of the instructors.
But says the difference between 2024 and 2025 conditions is night and day.
It's way better. I think there's way more snow and it's just like if you crash, I think it feels way better because it's not so hard.
But no matter who you ask, this will not be their last time in Nyhart. Do you think this will be your last time coming to Showdown this year?
No.
When do you think you'll be back here after that? Tomorrow. It's got everyone putting on their boots, locking into their skis, and hitting the slopes. In Great Falls, I'm Tommy Lynch, MTN News.
Well, Montana doesn't have sanctioned high school skiing, but here in Wyoming, they do, both downhill and Nordic. And this particular team in Sheridan is blazing its own trail. With the click of a binding, these Broncs are racing to new heights for their high school. Barely into their third year of Nordic skiing, they hosted their first race just last weekend on the Cutler Cross Country Trails.
It was just a great environment. There was so much like positivity and energy.
Yeah, that was super cool to see like all the hard work that everyone put in, the coaches, the athletes, like the athletic director and the groomers, and super cool to like see skiing growing in Sheridan.
The two-day race was unfortunately whittled to one due to high winds on Saturday, but Friday served up perfect conditions, albeit not without a few spills.
I fell on that hill and smacked my stomach so hard that I was cramping all the way through that.
Sheridan's girls placed sixth. The boys earned the highest team finish of their young program, placing second. As for after-school practices, the team is challenged by daylight issues, with a 40-minute commute on certain days. But early darkness only dims workouts, as teammates hit the trail with headlamps, unless there's enough snow in town like this week to groom a track right here on campus. Will Dominguez says he's skied downhill all his life and took a break from Nordic a couple years ago. But here's why he's been drawn back.
My buddy talked me into it and just couldn't resist because it was a lot of fun my 6th grade years.
What's neat is this program is becoming contagious for some who've never even skied, others who've never really been athletes, and some moving in from warm climates.
Yeah, I grew up in Texas, and so we didn't have skiing there, and so when we moved here, I guess I kind of knew about it, but barely.
Kaylee's dad, Falk, is now the head coach. Funny story on how that developed.
My wife kind of advertised me wrongly as this awesome skier, and so they asked me to help them in the middle school program. I fell in love with it.
The middle school program did so well with numbers that the high school agreed to adapt Nordic skiing in 2022. Prior to that, though, a handful of high school kids actually co-opted with Cody.
The team was super welcoming, and I mean, they have a pretty small team as well, but we just raced under the Cody ski team name and used their uniforms.
Now, these Broncs don their own uniforms and showcase their own identity, gradually gaining traction. In Sheridan, Scott Breen, MTN Sports.
Thanks for watching another episode of MTN Outdoors. We're wishing you and your family have a great weekend and you stay warm and safe no matter what you're doing. I hope I see you out there enjoying these cold weather conditions and doing things like Montanans do. Those winter activities, they sure are fun. For MTN Outdoors, I'm Keith Grevenitz. We'll see you next week.